Hi guys, so I'm back again with another book haul already, and that is because I don't want any of my future ones to be as large as the last one I just posted. This time I have 17 books to show you, and there are less Tolkien ones, technically. I shopped at 2 bookstores this month. First, I went to Barnes & Noble. I met up with my friend Olive from A Book Olive. So one that we actually both picked up is The Thorn and the Blossom by Theodora Gross. This is the story of 2 lovers. They meet in the bookstore. He hands her a romance, and it's almost as if they were the cursed lovers from the book itself. So this is really cool, because on this side of the book is Evelyn's story, and on this side of the book is Brendan's story. But if you notice, there's just not a, it's an accordion story, so I'm excited to read this because I think it'll be fun to have a 2-sided story. The next fiction book that I got is Lost in a Book, an enchanting original story from Jennifer Donnelly. It's based on Disney's Beauty and the Beast. I think she goes and discovers a book and visits a fascinating new world. But is everything in that world what it seems? Will Belle be able to find her way home, or will the story take hold of her and never let her go? In case you haven't noticed, I've been collecting Beauty and the Beast retellings. I'm starting to collect a lot more of them. So yeah, I saw this one and I picked this one up. I think there were another like 2 of them that I was like, I have enough books, I'll wait. Because an important thing to note, when I went into this bookstore, I told myself I was allowed to get 1 book, which is the next one I'm going to show you, and I'm allowed to pre-order a book, which I didn't pre-order. Instead, I walked out with 7 books instead of the 1 and the pre-order. So, the book that I got that I was supposed to get was The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them Now by Meg Jay. This is a book written about 20-somethings for 20-somethings, and it's just, you know, talking about how the 20s are really a very important time in your life because there's just so much change, but also the way you do things in your 20s sets up the way you're gonna do things in your 30s. Like these big life changes that are supposed to happen in your 30s, you're kind of setting up for them now in your 20s. So I thought, as a 23-year-old, why not read this and see if I can get anything out of it, because if I enjoy it, maybe I'll reread it and learn from it throughout my 20s. I don't know. We'll see. The next self-help book that I got is Adulting, How to Become a Grown-Up in 468 Easy-ish Steps by Kelly Williams Brown. It's just 468 steps on how to be an adult, or how to adulting. And I'm excited to look into this. It is also blurbed on the back of here by Meg Jay of the book that I just held up. That's cool. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. The last nonfiction book that I picked up is a poetry collection. That is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I have already reviewed this book because I've already read this book. So that is in my wrap-up that I just posted actually today, the day that I'm filming, last Thursday. The last 2 books that I picked up at Barnes & Noble are books that I shouldn't have picked up, but I could have picked up 1 more, and I didn't. So the first one is this hardback copy of The Lord of the Rings, the 50th anniversary 1-volume edition. I almost picked up the paperback too, which has the same cover, but I was like, nah, I can wait. So I got this because we know. And then I also got this copy of The Hobbit, which I actually haven't seen before. And this one is illustrated by Alan Lee. Alan Lee is like the official Tolkien illustrator. I'm glad to have it. It's very pretty. And these also go along with the fact that I've been trying to collect more simple hardbacks of both The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, because all of my hardbacks are like really nice. So these are nice hardbacks, but they're not like as nice. The next bookstore that I finally got to go to is actually up the street from my apartment, and it is Amazing Books. There are like 3 of them, I think, and now I've gone to 2 of them. I went on two different occasions. The first time because I wanted to go, and the second time because I wanted to ask a man about a book. So, all of the books that I got from that, these three I'm going to talk about first, and that is A Light in the Window, Out to Canaan, and These High Green Hills. These are books 2, 3, and 4 in the Mitford series. So now I have books 1 through 5 and then the last 2 in the series, so I can finally read book 2 and continue on with this series. After that, these are the books that you've probably been expecting. This is the second section of books that should be expected. This one, I was super excited to find. This is a photo novel, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, based on the novels of The Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is literally just the printed version of the animated movie that came out in like the 70s. Like, okay. So it's just, you know, full color illustrations, like a comic book of the movie. So I could not pass it up. Like, I have a problem. Then I found a Tolkien Compass, and this is Fascinating Studies and Interpretations of J.R.R. Tolkien's Most Popular Epic Fantasies, edited by Jared Lobdell. This has 10 essays and articles in it, 8 of which were prepared and presented at the first and second conferences of Middle Earth, and the other 2 were prepared for the third conference that never happened. So I'm interested to read these because I want to read. Right now I'm reading a book by Corey Olsen about The Hobbit, and I want to read all of the books that everybody wrote about The Lord of the Rings. So I've been collecting all of the books I can. I picked up this copy of The Unfinished Tales by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is now my 3rd copy of this book, but it is like a newer paperback, so I won't feel as bad writing in this one, whereas my other 2 are a old hardback and an old paperback, so I wouldn't want to write or tab in them. That's why I did this one. And then this copy of The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yes, I already have this edition. This is a different printing, I think, and it's just, the colors are so much brighter that I'm just like in love with. Like, I really like this cover. Okay. So, the next 3 books that I'm going to show you are the reason that I went back to the bookstore to talk to a man about a book. Because the first time I went in there was no price on this, and the guy was like, I don't feel comfortable pricing this, my manager, kind of thing. So the next day I went back because I forgot to tell him, next time you see your manager, ask him to price it. I'll be back on this day to buy it. So the manager was in when I went in there, so he priced it for me, and that is this 3-volume set of The Lord of the Rings. These are 2nd editions. These 2 I think are 13th printings, and this one is a 14th or 15th printing of the books. But yeah, these are the 2nd edition hardbacks, which, if you remember, I already have Return of the King and The Two Towers in smaller printings. I have 1 in 10th and 1 in the 6th printing of them, but they're 2nd edition still, but I could not find The Fellowship of the Ring. So when I found The Fellowship of the Ring, I was like, okay, I'm sold. Let me have it. He gave me a price, and I just kind of looked at him like, yes. 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 And I bought these. As of the day that I'm filming, I bought these yesterday, and I may or may not have spent about 3 hours cuddling with them. Like part of it was actively holding them like this after I showed my boyfriend that I owned them, and then I was reading and they were just kind of sitting beside me. I have a problem, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I have a problem, and this is one of the most exciting things that's happened to me recently, because how often do you find 2nd editions of your favorite books that were published, 50 years ago? So, those are all of the books that I have bought since my last book haul. I will probably start doing these more often. Hopefully not, because hopefully I won't be buying as many books as often. Hopefully I'm good for a little bit. We'll find out. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can check out my next video. Have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye.